Hello traders, in this week's session I'm going to be showing you how to trade the S&P 500 on the PrimeXBT CFDs platform. So what is the S&P 500? Now the S&P 500 is a stock market index that tracks the performance of the biggest 500 stocks that are publicly listed in the US. Initially introduced back in the 1980s, the S&P 500 was actually originally allowed to be traded as a futures contract, and only access was kind of given to professional traders and sophisticated dealers that had access to this kind of trading. However, back in 1993, the S&P 500 exchange traded fund, which is also known as an ETF, became available to the general public and more retail investors started to step in. So let's dive into the S&P 500 and let me show you today how you can trade the S&P 500 on our PrimeXBT platform. So I'm going to head over onto our account section. Now, I've shown you in the previous sort of iterations how you need to obviously deposit funds into your account, make the necessary transfer. So if you have not already done that before, I can show you how to do that now too. So it's quite simple. You'll come to the main landing page. If you have a look over here, I've got my account section set up, which has my total funding sitting in the account. I then will need to transfer the funding out of my wallet address. So in this scenario, it's quite easy. I just either click on transfer itself. I choose the wallet that I would like the money to come out of my account. So say, for example, I would like it to come out of my actual wallet address. I can then choose this account. I will then select for today's tutorial, the CFDs trading platform, and then I'll select the amount, right? So let's say, for example, I just want to send over 50 USD tether. It'll look something like that. I'll then go confirm. The funding will then say transfer complete. You can then hop over into your CFDs platform like this, and then all of a sudden you'll see that you'll be able to kind of see your main balances as well as the equity that you might have already been holding in this account previously, right? So this is our CFDs terminal. It's really easy to use, super simple. If you have not already watched some of the tutorials in the past, if you would like to change the widgets around a bit, it's really easy to do so too. So if you have a look over here, there's a plus sign, and this basically will allow you to bring in different sort of watch lists, dashboards, positions, trades, whatever widget you would like to look at on a daily basis. So let's say, for example, I want to bring in another dashboard. You'll then have a look over here. Now it'll bring up this dashboard for you. If you don't want this, you can simply just click exit, right? So those are the different widgets and sort of integrations that we have with this platform. It's really sort of eye-catching, if you want to call it that. And if you have a look now, so you'll see I'm actually on ETH/USD Tether. So I will need to change the ticker that I'm looking for, right? So if you have a look under where it says trade, okay, so you can have a look at two things. If you have a look at the chart section over here, it'll look something like this. These are all different widgets that you can build in. If you want to add and build your own workspace, you can do that by doing this as well. But for today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how you can trade the S&P 500 on the CFDs platform. Now, remember, the S&P 500 is a composite. It's an indice. So you're going to have to look at our indexes in order to find the pair that you're wanting to trade. And in scenarios like this, you're going to have to look at where it says CFD. So if you click on the crypto section, you'll have three different options, right? Mainly CFD, crypto, and Forex, or you can choose all markets, which will pretty much give you the full listing of assets that we have to trade on the platform. But if you want to deep dive specifically into something like this, the S&P 500, you would then need to click on, say, CFDs, right? So for example, if you have a look over here, we have now got it listed as the S&P 500. Previously, it might have been listed as SDX. So this is pretty much the same pair. If you have a look here now, I will then click on this and it will bring it up like that for me, which is great. And if you have a look here now, this is pretty much the terminal, right? So you've got your charts over here. If you would like to change your daily time frame, maybe to say the 1 hour or whatever it may be, you can do so over here. And if you have a look over here, you can pretty much see the current price action of the S&P 500, okay? So how do you actually go about executing a position now, right? It's really easy. So you've got these two functions over here, one that says buy, one that says sell, okay? So if you would like to put in, say, a market order limit of, say, let's say we want to enter one lot, right? You would then simply change whatever lot you would like to do over here. Or what I like to do is choose the option that I would like to kind of execute on. So for example, if you are wanting to buy, then obviously you're going to select the buy position. So you can keep it at the minimum, whatever the default is. So if you have a look over here, I can go and click new order. So when I press that buy button, it pops up a new order sort of widget, which you can then obviously modify further. Okay. So how does this now work? Now, this is pretty simple. You've obviously got the symbol over here. If you want to change the symbol, you can do so. But for today's tutorial, I'm going to be obviously trading the S&P 500. So I would like to trade SP 500, okay? Then if you have a look at where it says order type, you've got three options. You can either do market order, limit order, and a stop order. So I'm going to show you how to do a market order from the buy perspective, and then I'll show you how to do a limit order from the sell perspective, okay? So let's say, for example, I want to enter into one lot agreement like this, and then I want to buy. It'll tell me my margin impact over here. However, if you're not really too sure how much this sort of position size will actually affect your account balance by, then I suggest using something called our protection orders, right? So where you see it says place stop loss and take profit level, that is pretty much our protection levels, okay? And if you have a look there, you've got a couple of functions, right? So you've got the stop loss price as well as your take profit price, okay? So these sections over here will all be automatically calculated. You'll see there's a little lock button. That means you can't actually change that. So let's say, for example, I would like to buy at the current price of $587.2, and let's say I want my stop loss to be at around $5,830, okay? So it will tell you that's the minimum, that's the distance between your current entry price as well as your stop loss, and that will give you your projected loss level. So if you have a look over here, it will then tell me, okay, I will lose, say, $42 in the scenario if position goes against me, okay? And let's say, for example, I wanted to trade price now up into, say, $6,000 like this. It will then calculate what my projected profit would be, okay? So I will go send order, I go confirm. Now you'll see it says order filled like this. You can see that the position is running like that. And if you have a look over here at where it says positions, you'll see what I have done. So I bought the S&P 500 with one contract at a full price of 5,872. It's telling me what the current price is currently trading at. And if you have a look over here, it's telling me what my estimated profit and loss is, right? That is pretty much in a nutshell all you really need to know. If you have a look over here, you've got two other options, namely take profit and stop loss. So for example, let's say I want to modify this, or maybe I want to change this. I can simply go over here, punch in the numbers, say I want my stop loss to now be at 5,850. I can do that, and then I simply go modify position once I've done that, right? I would then need to confirm the order. It will then say order has been replaced, and now your new position sizing will happen. If you have a look over here on the actual chart itself, so you'll see next to the order here, it says plus SL and TP. So if I click on that, it will then show me where my stop loss level is and where my take profit level is. So if you have a look here, I'll just zoom out a bit. There we go. You can see there's my stop loss level at 5,850, and my take profit level will be showing now at 6,000. Okay. So let's say, for example, you don't actually want to manually type in the numbers all the time. You can simply drag and drop this function over here. So if you want, let's say, for example, you want to move your stop loss now below these lows, then what you can do is you can simply just drag it below. It will then give you the new sort of estimated profit and loss. And then you can go modify the position and go confirm. Now you'll see when you click back on this section over here, my stop loss has now been modified, and obviously the same can be said for your take profit. So let's say, for example, you want your take profit to be somewhere at around $5,956, modify, confirm, and that is pretty much it, right? So remember, click on this little button here. It'll pop up your take profit and SL levels for you. You can modify that really nicely. So that's pretty much how you would do a buying option here. Remember, this is a market order, so it'd actually be in this position live. Now, let's say, for example, I want to close this position, but maybe I'm not really too certain that price is going to continue trading higher. So what can I do? I can do one of two things. You can either close the position fully, or you can close the position say in a percentage, right? So let's say I want to close 50% of the trade. Then what I'll do is I'll just go type in, okay, cool, 0.5. Now, if you have a look here where it says amount to close, it will then say 0.5 out of one lot, right? Because remember, you entered into one lot initially. So if you want to say get out of your position, maybe 50% of it, and you want to let the other 50% run, let's say you're getting close to your take profit level, this is a way in which you can modify that sort of level, right? You then go close position, you go confirm, you'll now see that half of my order is being closed and the other half is still running. Okay, that's pretty much in a nutshell how you can kind of modify your positions when you are trading on the platform. Really easy to do. Now, if you have a look at the X button over here, if I want to close the position fully, I simply then just go close position and go confirm. Okay, so every time you make an execution or you make a modification or you make a change to the order, you will get notified by the platform. This is obviously on the web application, so this will pretty much show you right there and then how in the top right hand corner all the different options that you're choosing. You will then, if you want to go see those finer details of what you've done, then you can go over here and you can go and select the different trades, for example, or if you have a look over here, you can go to your trading history and you can pretty much go through and see, like for example, over here, we were executing the S&P 500. These are the different options, right? If you have a look at the activity log, it'll also tell you any sort of orders that were canceled, orders that were filled. So these are pretty much nice little widgets and you can build your own workspace around that too. Okay, this is again the charting section that shows you pretty much all options. Let's get back to now how you could potentially sell something with a limit price. Okay, so remember how I've explained this in the past tutorials. When you're trying to set a limit order, you are necessarily wanting to enter, for example, in a sell scenario, prices at X, and you want to get your sell entry looking something like that, right? So you pretty much are currently trading below the level you would like to enter from. So how do you go about executing a sell limit, right? And all that basically is it's putting in a sort of ghost entry, if you want to call it that, at that certain level. It's pending, okay? So it's not necessarily active. And then when price moves to that area and taps you in, then that ghost order, if you want to call it that, then gets executed and it will show live in your actual position, right? So if you have a look over here, we click on the sell button. If I go to where it says limit, I just change the market type, the order type from market to limit. I then say, let's say I want to do one lot again. And let's say, for example, I would like to enter it around 5,900. I would then go and place the sell limit, right? So if you have a look over here, now, if you have a look at this position, I'm running this currently as an order. So it's a pending order that will be only executed once price gets to say $5,900, right? But you need to understand two things now, okay? I just quickly did that limit entry without necessarily placing my stop loss and take profit. So how do I go about doing that? If you have a look over here at where it says orders, you can double click on the selection again, and then you can either manually put in your sort of stop loss and take profit levels. So let's say, for example, again, I wanted to move this to around $6,000 like that. I go edit and replace and I go confirm. Now, if you click over here on the position, you'll see that your take profit, your stop loss level will be the $6,000 in this scenario. And if you want to go and visually maybe change that again, you'd need to click on it again and do the same thing, right? Same for a take profit, right? If you're wanting to do a take profit level of say around 5,600, then you can simply edit and replace. Again, it will tell you the position size, right? So if you want to go and actually manually go and view these limit entries now, what you'd need to do is basically the same thing. So if you click over here where it says one lot, you'll now see that my stop loss is at around $6,000 and say my take profit level would be at around 5,600, okay? So if you have a look there, it will show you on the left-hand side corner there, SL $6,000 and take profit 5,600, right? And the same thing can be done if you want to modify that. You can simply just drag and drop it like this. And then if you obviously change the original order, you'll then need to confirm that, okay? So that's pretty much in a nutshell how you can use that feature. It's quite nice, especially if you are on the go and you're trading, maybe you don't have time to sort of plug in the stop loss or take profit levels, that's a quick way and an easy way you can do it. So I hope you enjoyed this week's tutorial on how you can trade the S&P 500, and I'll look forward to next week's one.